This is big breaking emergency news. A small town in Ohio has declared a state of emergency, and the mayor is sounding the alarm. He is saying that he can't believe what is going on here, and it's, quote, unsustainable what has happened here, and it's insane. The things that are happening to small town after small town throughout the U.S. is catastrophic, and cities and towns are reaching their breaking point. So let's get into the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting every single day, keeping you guys updated on this big urgent news, and it just helps to get these warnings out. I appreciate that. So this is the warning that's coming out of Lockland, Ohio, right? And the mayor here, he just gave an interview with Fox News, and he is sounding the alarm. The things that are happening here are wild. How they can allow this to happen to these small cities, it shouldn't be allowed to happen. Okay, they are being completely overwhelmed. This is what the mayor, Mark Mason, said. And this is a town of only 3,000 people, mind you. Okay, there's only 3,420 residents that live here, and they have had over 3,000 people show up just recently inside their small town. It's not even a town or a city, it's technically a village, and this is right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. Listen to what the mayor, Mark Mason, is saying is what's happening there.
The biggest issue here is the village has been absorbed with Mauritanian immigrants that have come over from the country of Mauritania. It's a West African country, and our county officials estimate that we have around 3,000 of those that have come to a village of 3,420 residents. And our complaint is that the federal government is going to have an open borders policy. With that, they need to have a policy directing these immigrants to communities that can absorb that kind of population increase. Our fire and paramedic services have been stressed. Since they've moved into these apartment complexes, a lot of the longtime residents have moved out because of multiple fires that's been caused by their not understanding how to cook on stoves, and they use high levels of grease in their cooking, which has caused multiple fires. We have all this documented via 911 calls. And so a lot of people don't want to subject their families to unsafe conditions in these apartment complexes. So therefore, they've moved out, the working residents, and they have moved in, and most don't have jobs. They don't contribute to society. They don't contribute to your earnings tax base, and it's a real concern. We're estimating right now that we've probably taken about $125,000 to $175,000 hit, and it could be more. I mean, and that's just through 3 quarters of the year. So we're probably approaching more of a $200,000 decrease in earnings tax because of the residents that were contributing to the village tax base leaving, and these Mauritanians moving into these apartment complexes. So I think that's a side of the immigration issue that's probably not looked at. You know, everyone looks at the stress on emergency services, which is a serious issue, but they don't take in consideration that residents leave because of this immigration issue, and then that affects the municipality's tax revenue. It's the biggest concern in this village right now. I've had a number of female residents complain about how the Mauritanians speak to them, treat them, and then there's also a littering issue that goes along with it. We've had where they're residing on the west side of town, we've had certainly an increase in littering in the past year. And it's basically a cultural issue. And again, I hold the federal government responsible for this. If you're going to let immigrants just come over freely, you've got to educate them on the cultural differences and how things operate here, and make them understand that some of the things that maybe you're used to in Martania doesn't necessarily is acceptable here in the United States. And again, it's not necessarily, it's not the fact that they're Martinians. They could be Croatians or whatever. It's the population increase that's affecting us. A village of 1.2 square miles can just not absorb almost a doubling in their population. It's unsustainable.
Really quick, this town is only 1.2 square miles. 1.2 square miles. This is like a little tiny village in Ohio outside of Cincinnati, and they've had over 3,000 people arrive. Let me know what you guys think down below. He has a little bit more to say too.
I wish we did have, a confirmed answer. We have found that there's a lot of information on TikTok telling you how to get to Lockland. And if anyone's watching this, we've put out the no vacancy sign, and we're going to start holding these, and we're working on right now. We're going to start holding these apartment complex owners responsible, and the hammer's going to start coming down. It's a long process to make that happen, but it's coming. And if you're watching this and you're thinking about coming over here from Martania, don't, because we have no room, and we're going to be addressing these issues. Again, a 1.2 square mile village cannot absorb this kind of population increase, and shame on the federal government for allowing this to happen to small communities like ours. I mean, it's happening throughout the country. Pick a state, pick a small community, and you can read about it. It may not be Martanians, but immigration has affected small town USA, and it's just not fair that this is dropped on local governments, local residents to have to deal with these situations. I mean, it certainly has become, I mean, Lockland's a very diverse community, and we've had immigrants here for a long time, actually. So we've been more than accepting of immigrants coming to this village. We've had immigrants from different African nations, Mexicans, and they're all came over here legally, and they're contributing to society. But we certainly have had a boom here in the last couple years, and especially in the Martanian immigration in the last 2 years. So I don't, it's not a political thing in my book. It's just a fact that a situation that wasn't caused by this village has been dropped on us, and now we're left to deal with it. And the federal government needs to give smaller communities like ours help in dealing with this, and certainly direct them to communities that are sanctuary municipalities and that has the the space and accommodations for these immigrants.
All right, so you heard that there. That was the mayor of Lockland, Ohio, Mark Mason. And a couple key points that I heard him say too is that he thinks people are getting instructions on how to come here from TikTok. Okay, they're getting, and I've seen similar things like this where they are putting out this information on social media. There's entire channels and entire algorithms that are dedicated to this type of thing. It like teaches people how to get over here, all the tricks, all this stuff. There was a few months ago, there was people talking about squatting and things like this, giving advice on all the squatting advice, okay, how to do it, what states are best to do it in, all these things. And he thinks there are channels, and he's seen them, where they are directing people to come to Lockland, Ohio, this place that has 3,000 residents. It's just a village. There's nothing really there. And this is insane. This is overwhelming the town. And this is happening all over the place. And another interesting thing that I thought he said was that he is going to hold these apartment complexes accountable. Right? So let me know what you guys think of all this stuff down below. Please just hit it up for me down there. It helps to get these warnings out. I appreciate that. And something that's going on with these apartment complexes and housing in general is that certain property management companies, certain landlords, certain property owners, they're exploiting the situation and they're jacking up rent and jacking up prices. Because think about it, there's 3,400 people here. Think about how many homes are here. There's maybe 1,000 homes in the town. Every house has a few people in it. Maybe 1,500 homes. And then there's 3,000 more people that show up. There's not enough homes, right? It's supply and demand. There's a major pressure on housing right now, especially in these small communities where there's not a lot of housing, there's not a lot of hotels. Places like New York City, a lot of the hotels and empty buildings have been converted into shelters and things like that. But a lot of these small towns, they don't have anything. They don't have anything like that to even offer at all. They have no resources like that, and it's putting a major pressure on all of the rentals. And he's saying that people that do live there are leaving, and that's putting pressure on the tax base as well too. He's saying people that normally would be contributing a decent amount to local taxes are leaving, and they're no longer contributing the same amount, right? And he said that the town is at a negative of $200,000 just this year alone, and that's going to keep going up. And how much do they have to take on? It's a town of 3,000 people. So, and if you've lived in these small towns or these small villages, there's nothing there. They're not really offering anything to residents anyways. You're lucky if there's like a post office or something in a lot of these small little villages. And they're not even offering really anything for the residents, right? There's barely infrastructure there. And some of these places have dirt roads, right? When you get into really rural areas and out west. And how are they supposed to offer services to new people arriving when they barely offer anything to the residents that have lived there the whole time, right? So let me know what you guys think down below. This is right outside of Cincinnati, and we've talked about Springfield, okay? Springfield, Ohio is experiencing a similar situation where thousands of people are arriving, but that was a 25 to 30% increase in population. This is a 100% increase. This is a doubling of the population. So thank you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying prepared out there. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.